Modem is the third generation of the bubble tea magic family and carries herself with confidence. That morning she rushes to an office meeting while her teammates call to push her to arrive faster. At a bus stop she meets her childhood friend Yogurt, who now works at the same office. To save time she orders an online driver. Local motorcycle taxi drivers object because online orders are banned in the area. Tension rises when an older driver nearly hits Modem and Yogurt. An online driver named Light appears and quickly defeats the angry drivers. He hides his face behind a black mask. Impressed by his skill, Modem accepts his offer to take her to the office while Yogurt stays behind. The ride begins. This is my bubble tea. When they arrive, Modem pays and prepares to leave. Light grabs her hand and pulls down his mask, revealing a striking face. He demands that she delete the video of the fight. Modem, still in a hurry, asks him to let go. He refuses and she instinctively kicks him in the groin before running inside. Inside the office, a worker mistakes her for new pantry staff and drags her to the kitchen. Meanwhile, her team struggles to present their coffee advertisement. Yogurt calls to ask where she is. Modem tells him to put the phone on speaker so she can present remotely. The company representatives are first annoyed but soon impressed by her clear explanation of the concept of sincerity. They hesitate only because featuring a cleaning staff member as the star of the commercial seems risky. They decide to consult their boss before making a final choice. Yogurt and the team cheer for Modem's effort. At midday, the team leader Up escorts the representatives to meet the CEO. Up is surprised by the CEO's youthful look that resembles a Korean idol. That night, Modem returns home and receives a warm hug from her aunt Shell. Her aunt and younger sibling have prepared a special birthday meal. Modem again refuses to make a magic wish, continuing her pattern of rejecting the family tradition of accepting the inherited magic gift. She wants to rely on her own abilities instead of family magic. Near midnight, she goes to get a drink and sees a notification from an online app about a bubble tea order for her aunt's shop. The shop is already closed, but she reluctantly enters the secret room to make the custom drink. In her hurry, she breaks several of Shell's potion glasses. Panicking, she runs to her room to find a love potion tea that might help Shell forgive her. She knocks it over and the potion spills onto Light, the same driver from earlier that morning. Shocked and confused, she rushes downstairs and tries to calm him. Light grows angry and demands that she wash his stained jacket and clothes. Later that night, Light returns home still upset. While asleep, he dreams of Modem and wakes in the morning to thoughts of her. His pet turtle stirs before he does. The next day, he loses focus while delivering food and calls several customers by the name Modem. Frustrated, he heads to the bubble tea shop owned by Shell, the same place he visited the night before. Modem is startled when Light walks in. She learns he is the food courier who often comes to her aunt's shop and already knows Shell. Light grabs her hand and asks what she did to him. Modem has not told Shell about the spilled potion and stands silent. Holding his chest and hugging her, Light demands to know why he loves her so much. Shell immediately understands. She believes Modem gave him the family's love potion. Modem looks frightened and does not want a destiny tied to Light. Yet she also fears Shell's anger over the broken potions and chooses to accept the situation. Light feels both annoyed and drawn to her. Each time he grows angry, his heart aches and he cannot resist kissing her, as if compelled by the potion. Modem pushes him away whenever he tries to hug her. That afternoon, Modem received a call from a colleague who told her to buy new clothes and dress like a design creator because she would soon meet the company leader. She felt confused since her closet held nothing suitable. Light suddenly appeared and offered to take her shopping. At the mall, Light spent freely, surprising Modem with his generosity. When they reached the office, her close friends noticed the handsome man with her and teased that he must be a new boyfriend. She denied it, but Light returned, claiming he wanted to be her assistant and carrying her belongings so she would not get tired. As they argued, Up arrived and told everyone to prepare for the arrival of their strikingly handsome boss. While Modem pulled at her bag and tried to end the dispute, she almost fell. The boss stepped in and caught her, which made Light jealous. He pulled Modem close and kissed her in front of everyone. The boss and her friends stood in shock. Embarrassed, Modem asked security to escort Light out. The boss laughed off the scene and forgave her, even praising her marketing design from the previous day. She blushed at his compliment. Later, during the product advertisement meeting, management announced that an artist named Ray would be the model. The story flashes back to middle school, when Ray was the prettiest girl in class. She once stole Modem's assignment and claimed it as her own. When confronted, Ray pretended to be sad and won the sympathy of classmates, turning them against Modem and starting a period of bullying. The story returns to the meeting room. Modem stays calm and professional as she presents her ad concept. Ray dismisses her ideas and disagrees with the storyline. The marketing head asks Modem to revise the concept. The boss apologizes, explaining that he cannot defend her original plan. He gives her his business card and invites her to reach out if she faces problems at work. Modem feels drawn to his kindness and warmth. The next day, Modem led the first day of filming after revising the ad concept. Up encouraged her to stay strong when dealing with Ray, and she looked more determined than ever to make the commercial succeed. In the artist's dressing room, Modem asked to guide Ray through the planned storyline. Light suddenly arrived with bubble tea for Modem, teasing her as he entered. Embarrassed, she pulled him outside the filming area and asked him to leave. Annoyed, Light secretly snapped a few photos of her before going. Soon after, rushed in with bad news. Ray had decided to leave early even though the shoot was scheduled until 10 at night. Modem tried to reason with Ray and her manager, but they insisted on leaving. Concerned for the crew, Modem pleaded for Ray to stay. Ray refused and grew angrier as Modem's patience ran out. Modem finally told Ray she relied only on beauty and lacked empathy and real skill. Ray challenged Modem to finish the commercial without her and walked out. That night, Modem returned to the office with Up to review the day's footage. After Up left, the power went out and the boss arrived to check on her. He offered calm advice, reminding her to take a break and accept that nothing is perfect. His words eased her frustration. The next morning, Modem woke to find she had fallen asleep at her desk. Hurried in and told her to get ready for a meeting with their eyewear client. During the meeting, the team watched Ur's clever edit of the footage, which included shots of Modem's argument with Ray. The eyewear representatives loved the ad and it quickly went viral on social media. Although Modem still disliked Ray's talent for pretending, her disappointment softened when the boss visited her home later that morning. He brought gifts for her team and announced that he would hire them as permanent employees in his advertising company. Grateful for the reward, Modem thanked him repeatedly. That night, filled with happiness, she accidentally released her magic and several of her family's enchanted boba pearls disappeared. The next day, the situation became serious. Modem confided in Yogurt, the only childhood friend who knew about her family magic, and asked for help. As Modem prepared to call Light, the boss arrived, worried because she had taken a sick day. He touched her forehead to check her temperature, and she felt captivated by his concern. Light then appeared, responding to a ride request Modem had made earlier. Seeing the closeness between Modem and the boss, he grew jealous. Modem canceled the ride and left with the boss in his luxury car, while Light followed, determined not to lose her. At the hospital, Light and the boss argued as Modem waited for an examination. Uncomfortable with their attention, she abruptly claimed she was pregnant. Both men froze in shock, each wondering who the father might be. Inside the examination room, Modem slipped away to continue searching for the missing magical boba pearls. Guided by her detector, she reached a room where an elderly man who had been in a coma had awakened the night before and now looked healthy. He appeared sad and spoke of missing his family. Modem promised to help reunite them. With help from the boss and Light, she brought the grandfather and his family together. One magical boba pearl returned to her as the reunion filled the room with relief and emotion. The boss felt reassured that Modem was not pregnant, while Light wept, reminded of his own missing father. After accompanying Modem home, she lent the recovered pearl to Light so he could find his own happiness. He accepted it, still puzzled by her gesture. Modem then resumed her search for the remaining pearls. That night, her detector led her to a school where she found Ray sitting alone in a classroom. Both were surprised to see each other so late. Ray explained that she wanted solitude after a frightening encounter with an online driver. Modem kept her true reason for being there to herself. Ray asked for an apology for the humiliation she felt back in school. At first, Modem refused, remembering how Ray had stolen her project. But needing the magical boba, she eventually apologized. Ray softened and admitted she had admired Modem's intelligence and capability since their school days. She confessed to stealing the project and offered a sincere apology. A red magical boba emerged from Ray's body as they made peace. Ray prepared to leave, but then received a call from her manager. The video of her argument with Modem had gone viral, delaying her album release. Angry and disappointed, she accused Modem of leaking the video. Modem firmly denied any involvement. The next day, the eyewear brand representatives complained to Modem's company about the viral clip. The boss promised to resolve the issue. Modem bowed her head, feeling guilty despite her innocence. The boss reassured her and offered his support. Later, as she left work, Light waited outside. He gently placed a helmet on her and spoke with her to lift her spirits. From a distance the boss watched them, his expression downcast. When they reached her home, Modem asked Light if they had met before. She felt a strange sense of déjà vu, recalling a time when she cried in a restroom and a man comforted her. That night she dreamed of Light and the boss once again fighting for her affection. The next day Modem continued searching for the missing magical boba pearls. Her aunt directed her toward the beach, and Light waited nearby, ready to drive and accompany her. Elsewhere, Ray's manager gave her a ticket for a beach vacation to help her escape the fallout from the viral video. When Modem reached the beach, she was surprised to see her younger brother Wi-Fi and his 3 friends already there, treating the trip as a holiday. Light took Modem to a small shop and chose a bubble-shaped necklace for her. She enjoyed the simple gift and gave him a boba tea keychain in return. Light proudly showed it to Wi-Fi, saying he hoped Modem would soon accept him as her boyfriend. While they rested, the boba detector began to beep. Modem followed the signal to a dirty section of the beach filled with discarded items, including a large doll left by its owner. Light followed, worried about her safety, and warned her not to go too far into the water because he could not swim. He tried to help her search but suddenly began to sink. At first Modem thought he was joking, then panicked when he did not answer her calls. She pulled him back to shore and in the struggle dropped the necklace he had given her. When Light regained consciousness they almost kissed, then both froze, startled to find they no longer recognized each other. Still confused, Wi-Fi and his friends arrived and noticed the strange change. Wi-Fi guessed the magical boba caused the memory loss and urged Modem and Light to rest in a nearby tent. Later Wi-Fi and Yogurt went to a shop for drinks and discussed what had happened. The shopkeeper overheard and asked if Light had visited the dirty corner of the beach. He explained that the area was known for objects left by couples who had broken up. People tossed away keepsakes there and afterward forgot their former partners. Wi-Fi became convinced the missing boba was hidden in that spot and that the lost necklace had erased Modem's memories of Light. Elsewhere, Light wandered alone along the beach and suddenly fainted. Ray, newly arrived for her vacation, rushed to help him. Meanwhile, Modem tried to put Light out of her mind but kept thinking of the boss. She called him and felt comforted by his steady support. Elsewhere, Light woke in Ray's room, surprised and disoriented. Ray gently massaged his shoulders and noticed how tired he looked. She remembered him as the childhood friend who once comforted her during sad times, but he showed no sign of recalling those memories. Back at the beach, Wi-Fi gathered everyone to search for the necklace Light had given Modem, which had fallen along the shore. Following the signal from Shell's boba detector, Modem unexpectedly came across Ray and Light taking photos together and enjoying the ocean view. When their eyes met, Light suddenly remembered Modem. He ran after her, apologizing and confused about how he could have forgotten. Modem invited him to rejoin the group with a plan. She suggested everyone help clean the beach of discarded items left by people who wanted to forget past relationships. After they cleared the shore, the missing memory boba appeared, and Modem and Wi-Fi quickly retrieved it. That night they relaxed around a bonfire. Modem and Light exchanged quiet glances. Later, resting in separate tents, Light overheard Modem speaking on the phone with the boss. Jealous, he noticed how much the boss seemed to care for her. After the call, Modem asked if he was awake. Light said he was, lost in thoughts of someone he had searched for his entire life. He shared his childhood story, revealing that he had been looking for his father, a man he had never met and could barely remember. Modem felt sympathy and promised to help. The next morning, as the group packed to leave, Modem decided to ride home with Light so he would not travel alone. Light was thrilled by her choice and kissed her before they departed. She smiled, showing she shared his feelings. Back home, Modem asked Shell to remove the love spell that bound Light, wanting their relationship to start honestly. After receiving the potion, she visited Light's house for a meal with him and his uncle Hoy. Nervous, she accidentally spilled the entire potion into a drink jar. Both Light and Hoy drank from it, and Light suddenly collapsed. While sleeping, Light dreamed of his mother and felt joy as he finally remembered her face. The next morning he woke Hoy and excitedly described the dream. After a quick shower, Light returned to his room and was startled to find Modem there. She had stayed overnight and almost had a nosebleed when she saw him undressed. Once he dressed, he told her about a dream in which his mother looked like a famous actress. Together they began searching for his parents. Their first stop was a luxurious house owned by a well-known actress. Light felt a surge of hope, then sadness when he realized the woman inside was not his mother. Moments later, a famous male actor, once rumored to be the actress's partner, appeared and questioned why they were outside his home. Light grew emotional, thinking the man might be the father he had been seeking. The actor explained that he was not Light's father but knew his mother well and had starred with her in several dramas. Shaken by the truth, Light continued his journey. Lost in thought, he was involved in an accident. While unconscious, he remembered waiting as a child for his mother after a drama premiere. His father arrived to pick them up, and Light suddenly recognized that the man was the one he had always called Uncle Hoy. When he regained consciousness, he returned home to confront Hoy, hurt that the truth had been hidden for so long. Hoy remained silent and accepted his anger. Later, Hoy visited Modem's house, where Shell admitted she had helped erase Light's childhood memories to spare him the trauma of his mother's death in a car accident. As a boy, Light had endured bullying from classmates who believed rumors about his mother and accused his father of being a thug. He often cried alone in a restroom, which was where he first met Modem when she went there to calm herself. That night, Light and Hoy forgave each other and agreed to begin again. The next morning, Modem visited Light at home and was relieved to see him smiling. She brought a glass of bubble tea from her aunt and waited nervously for his reaction. Light gently released her hand, apologized, and walked away, leaving her alone. Modem tried to accept the painful reality, knowing she did not want a relationship built on magic. She cried, realizing the love potion's effect had ended and she had lost him. Light felt different. Free from the spell, he focused on rebuilding his bond with Hoy and slowly began calling him Dad. Meanwhile, after her public argument with Modem went viral, Ray began losing jobs as people labeled her difficult. Her manager worked hard to protect her career and scolded anyone who spread rumors, which moved Ray with his loyalty. One evening, while heading home from a cafe, she unexpectedly met Light. They recognized each other from school, where Light had always supported her. Remembering his kindness, Ray thought of him as her first love and felt comforted that they kept crossing paths. Overcome by emotion, she kissed him. The next morning, the boss arrived at Modem's house to take her to a client meeting. Modem had cried through the night and her smudged mascara showed it. After the long meeting, the boss invited Modem and up to his home to continue work and to lift her mood. He introduced her to archery, guiding her stance and telling her to picture someone who had upset her to sharpen her focus. Modem instinctively imagined Light, still hurt that he had forgotten her. Later that day, Modem received a photo of Light and Ray together. The image reopened her wounds and she wept, believing Light had moved on. The boss watched quietly, saddened by her pain. During the final client meeting the next day, Modem's ad design was rejected. The boss followed her afterward, knowing the decision would hurt. She cried and blamed herself, convinced the project failed because she lost her professionalism. That night, Modem worked late in her room and again broke down, thoughts of Light overwhelming her. Exhausted, she fell asleep at her desk. A gentle hand lifted her and placed her on the bed. The figure was the boss, glowing softly in the dark. He was in fact a Cupid sent to Earth to unite couples with arrows of love, but he had loved Modem for years. The story flashed back to his school days. He had admired Modem as a classmate and often tried to help her, though she never noticed. One day he saw her crying in the restroom and received a mission to bring Modem and Light together. Because he loved her himself, he refused to complete the task. That choice brought a 14-year punishment from the god of love. Years later, he returned as a young advertising executive. Modem became one of his employees, and he was happy to see her again, though disappointed that she and Light still seemed destined for each other. The next day, after a client meeting, the boss invited Modem to an amusement park to lift her spirits. She looked cheerful as they enjoyed the rides together, while Light, passing through the mall, felt a pang of sadness when he saw her closeness with the boss. Later, Modem slipped and fell. While the boss went to get medicine, Light appeared and helped her, gently bandaging the wound. He apologized and admitted he loved her. Modem remained hurt by the photo of him kissing Ray. Light explained that Ray was only a friend despite the kiss and asked Modem to meet him in 2 days to hear something important about his feelings. The boss watched them from afar, his expression dark. When he drove Modem home, he invited her to visit the park again the next day. She refused, offered a quiet apology, and went inside. The boss returned home troubled and unsure if he should continue pursuing her. That night, the god of Cupid called, urging him to complete his mission of uniting Modem and Light. He refused, unwilling to bring them together because he wanted Modem for himself. Meanwhile, Modem worked late on a new ad design, drawing energy from thoughts of Light and the support he had given her. The next morning, she confidently presented her concept and won the client's approval. Her heartfelt idea turned the company's soap campaign into a success. She happily told her boss that the concept was inspired by Light. Hearing this, the boss felt another wave of disappointment and frustration, seeing how bright she became whenever she mentioned Light. Resolved to claim her heart, he made a decision. That night he arrived at Modem's house carrying a love potion. Shell tried to stop him and fought to protect Modem, but he overpowered her. He entered Modem's room and gave her the potion. The next morning, Modem woke with her memory altered. She suddenly focused on the boss's face and no longer remembered Light, who waited elsewhere for the meeting she had promised. That evening, a luxury car brought Modem to a restaurant where the boss waited with two of her friends, hoping to confess his feelings. He looked tense as he began to speak but lost focus and never finished his confession. When Modem returned home, she felt happy and started to consider accepting his affection, yet sensed something missing that she could not name. Meanwhile, Light waited all night for Modem at the place they had agreed to meet. She never arrived. Heartbroken, he decided the next day to leave home and travel to heal his pain. Before leaving, he visited Ray to say goodbye and shared how deeply the broken promise hurt him. Ray felt sad, wishing he and Modem could have been happy together. While Modem joined the boss and her friends on a business trip, Light unexpectedly became a trending topic after helping escort a child. Photos of the handsome rider with a hidden face spread quickly across social media. Fate intervened when Light and Modem crossed paths again at a hospital. Light was helping a young boy in the restroom, while Modem happened to be in the adjacent stall. They spoke through the wall without knowing who the other was. Light mentioned his heartbreak over being left by a flat-chested ugly girl. When they stepped out and saw each other, both were shocked. Modem's memories of him returned at once, and she ran after him to apologize. Light tried to leave when the boss arrived and noticed the ring on Modem's finger. The next day, the boss invited Modem to a romantic setting where he planned to ask her to be his girlfriend. But Modem, now remembering Light, refused and apologized before setting off to find the man she truly loved. The search turned into a live broadcast that spread across the internet. Ray, watching the news, asked her fans to help locate Light so Modem could reach him. A humorous chase followed as fans tried to catch the elusive rider. Finally, on a beach where he could run no farther, Light stopped. Modem reached him, offered a heartfelt apology, and confessed that he was the only man in her heart. Light grew emotional. As they stood together, Modem tripped on a rock and fell into him, their lips meeting by accident. Onlookers cheered at the sudden romantic moment. From a distance, the boss quietly released his arrow of love, accepting that Modem and Light were meant for each other. The next day, Ray invited Modem and Light for an interview after their viral video made them known as the most romantic couple. For the first time, Light removed his helmet, revealing his face to the public. As the couple enjoyed their new happiness, a serious problem emerged. That afternoon, a visitor from the Ministry of Magic delivered a summons accusing Modem of wrongdoing for losing the magical bubbles. Aunt Shell protested, explaining that Modem had already recovered every missing bubble, but the sentence could not be withdrawn. Determined to protect her niece, Shell hid the letter and decided to take Modem's place. That night, she spent time with Modem, teaching potion making and acting as if nothing was wrong. Later, while her nieces slept, she quietly said goodbye, stepped into the bathroom, cast a spell on the mirror, and disappeared. The next morning, Modem woke and searched for her aunt. She called Light and asked if Shell was at his house, then asked him to help look elsewhere. At school, Modem noticed an envoy from the ministry watching her. She brought him home and pressed for answers. Moved by her concern, the envoy revealed everything about Shell's sacrifice. Shocked and saddened, Modem and her brother Wi-Fi rushed to the bathroom to look for any trace of their aunt, but the enchanted mirror stayed silent. Modem then formed a plan to draw the ministry out. She and Wi-Fi began selling cups of magical tea, which quickly went viral and caught the ministry's attention. Returning to the bathroom, Modem used the magic mirror to summon the envoy. The lights flickered out and she vanished. Modem appeared inside the Ministry of Magic, where the weary minister slept and Shell was imprisoned in a glass cell. Modem accepted full responsibility and begged for her aunt's release, asking for a chance to correct the mistake. The minister granted her 2 days to set things right and promised to free Shell once the matter was resolved. Modem returned home, deep in thought about how to restore the balance of magic. The next day after work, Modem took Light to their old school and asked him to wait quietly in one of the bathrooms, just as they had done as children. She wept while remembering the time she had hidden there to calm herself and gave Light a Thai boba keychain, asking him to keep it always. Light sensed nothing unusual and kissed her with happiness. When Light returned home, Hoy told him that Modem had sent a farewell message. Alarmed, Light grabbed his motorcycle and rushed to her house, fearing she might leave for the magical world forever. His motorcycle broke down along the way, so he ran the rest of the distance and recorded a voice message to preserve his memories of her, afraid she would use magic to erase them. By the time he arrived, Modem had already cast the spell that erased herself from everyone's mind and prepared to return to the magical realm to serve her sentence. 3 months passed. Aunt Shell and all of Modem's friends continued their lives with no memory of her. After completing her punishment, Modem came back to Earth to begin again. She rented a small room and started looking for work. She applied to her former workplace and felt happy just to see Up and her two close friends, even though they no longer knew her. After work, Modem often visited her aunt's shop for bubble tea. Shell and Wi-Fi served her politely but remembered only a new customer who had recently started coming by. Each time Modem opened her delivery app, she silently hoped to meet Light again. Fate finally intervened. During a client meeting, Up ordered food for the team. Modem noticed a missing person sticker on the delivery bag, placed there by Light. Recognizing the hint, she rushed out, but the elevator doors closed before she reached him. Frustrated and in tears, she cried in the office restroom where she unexpectedly ran into Light. After making the delivery, Light had been forced to the restroom when the boss, still acting as a Cupid, deliberately spilled a drink on his jacket. The plan worked and reunited them, though Light still looked puzzled and could not fully remember her. A few days later, Modem accepted an invitation from her brother and friends for a surprise birthday celebration at Shell's shop. She was touched by their warmth even though none of them recognized her yet. While they enjoyed their drinks, Hoy arrived carrying a beverage from home. After everyone drank, memories long erased came flooding back. Shell cried with joy, overwhelmed by the return of her niece. Modem's friends felt the same, realizing they had sensed an emptiness without knowing why. The drink Hoy brought had been mixed with a potion that cancelled Modem's memory-erasing spell. The story closes with Modem reunited with everyone she loves. She had fulfilled her punishment from the Ministry of Magic and finally returned to a life where those dearest to her remembered and cherished her once more. So the moral of the story is, if you spill magical boba, keep a spare helmet, because love potions, memory wipes, jealous cupids, and runaway scooters will all find a way to crash your day anyway.